Across the American landscape, a financial silence is spreading, far more sinister than the sound of foreclosures. It's the silence that happens when opportunity dies. For decades, the American dream was a constant promise: work hard, and you can afford a home. That promise is now a whisper, drowned out by the noise of bidding wars, relentless price hikes, and mortgage rates that have turned the dream into a death sentence. We all watched as affordable cities, the escape valves for the middle class, vanished. Remember when Austin was cheap? When Boise was a hidden gem? When Nashville was just about country music and low taxes? They are gone. Swallowed whole by corporate capital, out-of-state migration, and the relentless, suffocating pressure of a system designed to keep you renting forever. The media, the market gurus, and the Wall Street investors want you to believe the game is over. They want you to accept that you missed your chance, that the next boom is for the billionaires, and that your only option is to sit tight and wait for the inevitable crash. But the crash they promise is often just a correction back to prices you still can't afford. They keep your eyes glued to the expensive coasts and the overhyped headlines because they don't want you to see the quiet truth unfolding in the heartland. They don't want you to know about the cities that are still breathing, still cheap, and still waiting for the spark that will ignite the next great American boom. These are the last safe harbors, the final affordable places left in America. The window to buy in is measured in months, not years. If you miss this, you miss everything. Today, we take you off the beaten path, away from the endless noise of the collapsing metros, and deep into the forgotten corners of America. We are not just looking for cheap houses, we are looking for the economic DNA of the next boomtown. We are looking for the perfect storm: low median home prices, high rental yields, massive infrastructural investment, and a quality of life that is actually improving, all before the major crowds and the institutional investors arrive. We've identified the 6 cities that perfectly fit this rare, powerful profile. These are the cities you need to move to, invest in, or at least watch with ruthless focus. Don't just watch, prepare to act. We begin our countdown with a city that has been hiding in plain sight for decades, overshadowed by its flashy neighbors and burdened by an outdated image. This is a classic example of an economy that is too stable and too important to ignore, yet its housing market is still operating on a pre-boom discount. This is your warning shot. This is your final chance to buy low in the region. At number 6, we find Wichita, Kansas. The average American knows Wichita for its role in history and perhaps a pit stop on I-35, but they don't know it as an economic powerhouse. For the smart investor and the financially savvy family, that anonymity is a gift. Let's talk numbers. The median home price in Wichita hovers around a stunning $138,000. Compare that to the national median, which is nearly 3 times higher. A $138,000 home. That single fact alone is a screaming signal that the market is undervalued. But affordability without opportunity is just cheapness. Wichita is far more than that. It is the aviation capital of the world. Think about that title, the aviation capital of the world. Companies like Boeing, Spirit AeroSystems, Cessna, and Bombardier, the giants of the aerospace industry, have deep roots here. This isn't a speculative tech startup hub that can vanish overnight. This is heavy industry, defense contracting, and manufacturing, jobs that are secure, high-paying, and foundational. When you invest in Wichita, you are investing in an economy that is literally too big to fail. While other cities struggle with shifting remote work patterns, Wichita has a massive, stable, and growing blue-collar and engineering workforce. This creates a housing market that is recession-proof. When the next economic tremor hits, those who invested in speculative, white-collar metros will suffer. Those who own a home near a Spirit AeroSystems plant will have stability. The contrast framing is critical here. You have the option of paying $500,000 for a cramped starter home in a coastal metro that is susceptible to every slight shift in the stock market, or you can buy a beautiful 3-bedroom house in a safe, stable community for $150,000 and invest the difference. The question is not, why would I move to Kansas? The question is, why would I continue to pay $500,000 to be miserable? Wichita is currently seeing significant investment in its downtown area, the development of its riverfront, and a concerted push to attract more young professionals. The infrastructure is there, the jobs are there, and the prices are a shocking anomaly. But here is the critical warning: cities like this don't stay a secret forever. When the national real estate investment funds finally turn their attention to this level of affordability backed by this level of economic stability, the prices will skyrocket. The window is measured in months. You must act before the institutions arrive and buy up the inventory. The time for caution is over. The time to buy is now. The truth is, The smart money isn't looking for the sun, they're looking for job security. And no city offers a better blend of security and value than Wichita right now. Do you want to be smart, or do you want to be late? The choice is yours. We've established the pattern, forgotten, but economically vital. Our next city deepens this pattern, offering an even more shocking price point and demonstrating a true flight from expensive chaos. It's a Midwestern gem that serves as the perfect escape for the family fleeing high costs. We move now to number 5. At number 5 on our list of the only affordable places left in America, we find Fort Wayne, Indiana. If Wichita was the quiet economic powerhouse, Fort Wayne is the ultimate middle-class refuge. For years, families across the Midwest, in expensive, congested metros like Chicago, Detroit, and Indianapolis, have been searching for an escape, a city where they could truly raise a family without sacrificing their entire paycheck to property taxes and inflated home prices. Fort Wayne is the answer they found. And now, you need to find it too, before the secret gets out. The numbers here are almost unbelievable. The median home price in Fort Wayne is approximately $121,600. This is not a typo. This is a price point that makes the American dream accessible not just to the upper middle class, but to teachers, nurses, police officers, and service workers. For anyone trapped renting in a major metro, this is a beacon. A typical family fleeing the high-cost areas can sell their cramped, overpriced condo and buy a sprawling, beautifully maintained 3- or 4-bedroom home in Fort Wayne outright, often walking away with hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit. That is life-changing capital. That is the true next Vegas opportunity, the chance to dramatically reset your financial life. But affordability is only half the equation. Why is Fort Wayne booming? The secret is strategic, large-scale investment. The city has poured over $200 million into its downtown revitalization, focusing on creating walkable spaces, a thriving riverfront, and amenities that attract young professionals and remote workers who want the urban experience without the urban price tag. The city has seen significant growth in its healthcare, insurance, and advanced manufacturing sectors. This is not a town that relies on a single industry. It's diversified, stable, and growing. When you contrast this with the staggering decline in quality of life in places like San Francisco, where you pay $1.5 million for a home and face rampant crime and collapsing infrastructure, the choice becomes obvious. You are paying less to get more stability, better infrastructure, and a drastically higher quality of life in Fort Wayne. This is a deep-seated migration pattern. It's not just investors looking for flips, it's families looking for permanence. The people buying homes here are putting down roots, supporting local businesses, and ensuring the long-term stability of the housing market. That is the kind of demand that protects your investment. But here is where the urgency comes in. Fort Wayne is starting to get noticed. It's been repeatedly ranked as one of the best places to live in the US and is attracting increasing attention from national real estate analysts. Every time one of these reports is published, another layer of anonymity is stripped away. As more people flee the coastal crisis, they will land in the most logical, most affordable, and most stable places. Fort Wayne is at the absolute top of that list. The time you have to buy at this low price point is rapidly closing. The smart investor understands that once a city starts being consistently ranked as best of, the price correction is imminent and brutal. You need to secure your stake now, while the price is still ridiculously low. The narrative of Fort Wayne is about regret avoidance. Imagine looking back 5 years from now, having paid $40,000 in rent for nothing, while homes in Fort Wayne doubled in value. That regret will be financial and psychological. The people who hesitated will be locked out again. You have been given the roadmap. The opportunity to buy a quality home in a growing, safe, and family-friendly city for $120,000 is an anomaly that cannot, and will not, last. Fort Wayne is your sanctuary, your financial reset button, and the affordable bedrock of the Midwestern revitalization. Now we pivot dramatically, leaving the stability of the Midwest for a region that has been systematically abandoned by the American dream, the Northeast. For generations, the Northeast was defined by wealth, power, and prestige. Today, it is defined by paralyzing debt, obscene taxes, and completely unaffordable housing. You can drive for hundreds of miles, from Boston to Philadelphia, and not find a single desirable city where the median home price is under $500,000. That scarcity creates tremendous pressure on the few remaining affordable outposts. Our next city is the only one in the region that still offers coastal-adjacent living, rich history, and shockingly low home prices. It is a true anomaly, the final lifeline for anyone who refuses to abandon the Northeast. We move now to number 4. At number 4, we find the absolute final lifeline for anyone who insists on living near the American Northeast, a place where history, architecture, and revitalization are colliding with unprecedented affordability: Buffalo, New York. When most people hear Buffalo, they think of snow, decline, and a bygone era. They are catastrophically wrong. The narrative of Buffalo being a dying Rust Belt city is the very shield that has protected its affordability for the last decade, and that shield is now shattering. Consider the reality. Buffalo sits on the Great Lakes, giving it coastal access, beautiful waterfront views, and proximity to major Canadian markets. Yet, its median home price is an astonishingly low $101,000. Let that sink in. You can buy a charming, historic 3-bedroom home in a city with a thriving food scene, rich cultural institutions, and a burgeoning health and education sector for the price of a down payment in New York City or Boston. This isn't just cheap, it's an economic miracle in the context of the Northeast. For the remote worker who wants to stay within a day's drive of Toronto or New York, but refuses to pay $1 million for a showbox, Buffalo is the only answer left. The core of the Buffalo boom is its quality of life renaissance. The city has invested billions into reclaiming its waterfront, turning old industrial areas into stunning public parks, and celebrating its architectural heritage. Unlike cities that grew too fast and sacrificed charm for convenience, Buffalo retains its integrity. Neighborhoods like Elmwood Village and Allentown offer walkable, urban living that rivals Brooklyn, but without the crippling cost. This is the ultimate contrast framing. You can pay New York prices for a terrible quality of life, or you can pay Buffalo prices for a quality of life that is actually improving year over year. The choice is less about location and more about financial sanity. But here is the investor's perspective, the true FOMO trigger: rental yields. Because the price point is so low and the demand for safe, quality rentals is rising, driven by students and young professionals, the cash flow potential in Buffalo is enormous. You can purchase investment property at a fraction of the cost of any other desirable market, generating immediate, stable income. This is the kind of cash flow opportunity that hasn't existed in a major Northeast metro for half a century. The investors who are making millions today are the ones who bought low in cities like Pittsburgh and Cleveland 5 years ago. Buffalo is the final wave of that opportunity. The time to enter is now, before the national funds fully realize the massive arbitrage opportunity this price point offers. The urgency of Buffalo is tied to its climate. For decades, the snow kept the crowds away. But in the era of climate change, Buffalo is increasingly being recognized as a climate refuge, a city with reliable fresh water and less catastrophic weather risk than the fire-prone West or the hurricane-battered South. As people begin to migrate not just for jobs but for survival, Buffalo's affordability and stability will become irresistible. That massive demographic shift, the climate migration, is coming, and it will permanently alter the housing market in places like Buffalo. If you secure a property now, you will benefit from two separate, massive waves of inbound migration: the affordability seekers and the climate refugees. We cannot stress this enough. For those anchored to the Northeast, there are no more options after this. Once Buffalo's home prices cross the $150,000 threshold, the door is closed, and the entire region becomes a financial wasteland for the middle class. This is your warning. The time to invest in a city that is financially sane, architecturally rich, and fundamentally stable is now. Do not suffer the regret of watching Buffalo become the next big thing from the sidelines. Now, we shift our focus from the frozen north to the sizzling south, specifically to a region that is undergoing a literal rocket-fueled transformation. This is a boom driven not by remote workers, but by the most disruptive, ambitious, and heavily funded tech venture in human history. This city is a riskier, more speculative play, but the potential upside is astronomical. It is the definition of a true next Vegas moment. We move now to number 3. At number 3 on our urgent list of the only truly affordable cities left in America, we land in Brownsville, Texas. If the previous cities were defined by stability and stealth revitalization, Brownsville is defined by speculative, exponential, rocket-fueled growth. This is a play for the investor or family willing to take a calculated risk for maximum reward. This city is currently experiencing a boom so unique, so powerful, that it transcends typical real estate metrics. Brownsville has long been defined by its status as a vibrant, multicultural border town in the southernmost tip of Texas, a place where the cost of living was inherently low due to its remote location. But now, it is home to the most ambitious space exploration company on the planet, SpaceX's Starbase. This single development changes the entire economic trajectory of the region. Suddenly, a city that was isolated is connected to the pinnacle of global technology and wealth. The influx of engineers, high-paid technicians, contractors, and ancillary businesses required to support a massive spaceport is not a trickle, it's a financial fire hose. This is the Texas Gold Rush 2.0, and it's happening right here. The median home price in Brownsville still hovers attractively in the $150,000 to $200,000 range. This is the crucial point. You can still buy property at pre-SpaceX prices, even though the massive operation is already generating jobs and demand. The arbitrage opportunity is breathtaking. You are investing in a city where the economic base has changed from local commerce to intergalactic ambition. When a market shifts from being dependent on local wages to being dependent on high-paying aerospace salaries, the housing prices must follow. It is an economic inevitability. Those who buy now are buying before that fundamental price correction occurs. The contrast framing here is simple. Texas is now unaffordable. Dallas, Austin, Houston, they are all financial nightmares. Brownsville is the final frontier, the only low-cost point of entry left into the most economically dynamic state in America. This city offers the unique cultural richness of a border town alongside the unparalleled economic momentum of the space industry. It is a dual magnet for both culture seekers and high-tech professionals. But this is not a permanent state. Developers are already mobilizing. Large-scale infrastructure projects are being planned to accommodate the hundreds of thousands of people expected to move to the region over the next decade. When those bulldozers start turning dirt for master-plan communities, it will signal the end of affordability. You need to secure your stake now, while the market still believes Brownsville is just another border town. The time for speculation is over, the time for strategic buying is now. Moving from the speculative boom of Texas, we pivot back to stability, but stability with a serious edge. Our next city is the ultimate tale of redemption, a former industrial giant that spent decades fighting for survival and is now emerging as the true cultural, intellectual, and affordable powerhouse of the eastern United States. It has done the hard work of revitalization and is ready to reward the sharp-eyed investor. At number 2, we find Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh is not just affordable, it is the most affordable major metropolitan area in the entire nation. Let that sink in. You can live in a massive metro area, a city with 3 major universities, a thriving robotics and AI tech scene, world-class healthcare, UPMC, and professional sports teams, for a median home price near $250,000. This is an economic anomaly that should keep every smart investor awake at night. Pittsburgh's resurrection is not a fad, it's a fully realized, multi-decade transformation. It successfully shed its image as a dying steel town and reinvented itself as a global leader in robotics, medicine, and higher education. The city is attracting high-value talent who are fleeing the $1 million cost of living in the coastal cities but still demand that world-class intellectual environment. Where do those highly paid professionals go? They go to Pittsburgh, where their money buys 4 times the square footage. This creates a housing market driven by high-quality, high-income demand, but anchored by the massive stock of affordable, older housing. The FOMO factor here is not a crash, but missing the final wave of appreciation. Pittsburgh has been steadily rising, year after year, as its reputation catches up to its reality. Every national ranking that declares it most affordable and most livable acts as an advertisement to the rest of the nation. The word is out. The smart money is already here. But because of its deep well of historic housing, the price point has resisted skyrocketing, for now. This window is closing rapidly as younger generations, realizing that cities like New York offer no financial future, are relocating en masse. You are betting on reality over reputation, and reality is about to win big. Finally, we arrive at number 1. The city that perfectly blends stability, massive corporate investment, high-paying jobs, and a shocking level of affordability. This is the ultimate destination for the family looking for security and the investor looking for guaranteed growth. This is the new American dream embodied in one location, and it's the only city that offers this specific, powerful blend. Our number 1 most affordable and promising city left in America is Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville is the epitome of a forgotten city that quietly built the future. It has been known for decades as the Rocket City, home to NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center and the sprawling Redstone Arsenal, an army base that serves as a core anchor for defense, technology, and engineering jobs. This is not a city chasing growth. This city is growth, and it is funded by the most stable and reliable entity on the planet, the United States government. Huntsville has the highest concentration of scientists, engineers, and PhDs per capita in the entire country. The jobs are high-paying, recession-resistant, and foundational. Yet, its median home price is approximately $184,000. This is the ultimate paradox. You have the economic stability of a government hub mixed with the entrepreneurial spirit of aerospace, all at a price point that makes it a bargain compared to any other tech hub in the nation. This city is stealing talent from Seattle, Silicon Valley, and Boston because it offers the same high-paying job for a fraction of the cost of living. The migration data here is overwhelming. Families are moving in droves. The urgency of Huntsville is twofold. First, the inventory is tightening rapidly. Developers can't keep up with the rate of incoming high-paid workers. Second, you are investing in guaranteed appreciation. When a city's economic engine is the defense and aerospace sector, the jobs are not going anywhere. You are buying security. The people who got rich in the early days of Seattle bought homes near Boeing. The people who will get rich in the next decade are buying homes near the Redstone Arsenal. The opportunity is clear, the prices are ridiculously low for the economic engine you are getting, and the window to invest before the market corrects is right now. Do not suffer the pain of watching this city become the next boomtown from the sidelines. The chance to secure true financial freedom is standing right here in Huntsville. We have revealed the only 6 cities left in America where the middle class can still afford a home and where the smart investor can still buy low and sell high. These cities, Wichita, Fort Wayne, Buffalo, Brownsville, Pittsburgh, and Huntsville, are the future. You now have the knowledge the major media and coastal elites don't want you to have. The game is not over. It has simply moved to the heartland. You have the map. The only question left is, will you act on it?